Hey everybody, welcome to the Uvic Caving Club's first video in our series on the SRT, otherwise known as single rope technique. Today we're going to show you how to set up your SRT kit, but before I get started, I need to make a quick disclaimer. This video is made specifically for the Uvic Caving Club as a refresher on how to use our gear. This video is not meant to replace hands-on training with the club, nor does it count towards your ropes training prerequisite. So please make sure you're properly trained in person before you sign up for any vertical caving trips with the club. Also, for anyone who's watching this publicly on YouTube, take this with a grain of salt. The club is aware that there's different ways to set up SRT kits, including different knots and preferences. The reason we use this specific setup is it's just what works best for our new members as well as what we have in our budget available to us. But again, this is not professional or expert advice, it's just meant to be a refresher for what works best with our club currently. If you have any additional notes, feel free to leave constructive criticism down in the comments below. But again, I'm not a professional, I'm just a little student trying to help out other little students learn how to get underground. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. With the Uvic Club, you'll find your SRT kit in one of these handy mesh bags. First things first, take everything out and make sure you've got all the right pieces. Trust me, you don't want to get halfway up rope and realize you're missing something. Let's break it down. SRT kit should include a harness, a cow's tail, a croll, or a chest ascender, a chest harness, 2 locking carabiners for your cow's tail, 1 ascender or a jumar, a foot loop for your ascender, a descender with an oval-shaped locking carabiner, as well as a braking carabiner. There are 2 different types of harnesses in the club. Some are red and some are orange. Different models, but they do the same thing. Right here is where you attach your D-ring. This is going to be the foundation for building the rest of your SRT kit. It's like the skeleton of the whole operation. Now, let's talk descenders. You've got 2 types here. In red, the Petzl Simple, and in blue, the Petzl Stop. The Stop is newer and has this little lever device for added safety. It's not really meant to control your speed, but it essentially pinches the rope as a backup to stop you from plummeting to your doom. But if you're using one of the older simple models, no worries, it still does the job. Here is where you attach the carabiner on both. Alright, now that we've got our gear laid out, let's suit up. First, I'm going to put on my harness and throw in a D-ring to the connection points. It should sit comfortably around my hips. Watch me here as I hook it up to stay snug and not too tight. Next, onto our leg loops. You don't want these cutting off your circulation, but they can't be too loose either. Here's a quick trick. You should be able to fit a couple fingers under the straps, but nothing more. If it's too tight, your legs might fall asleep mid-ascent. Always remember to double back your buckles. If you don't double back, you risk the straps loosening while you're moving or under tension. That's bad news. Some harnesses will literally say danger on the buckle if you've done it wrong. If you can read danger, you gotta fix it. Double it back, stay safe, and don't die. Here's the thing about adjusting your harness. Sometimes you're gonna need a friend's help. The waist strap can be tricky, especially when it's sitting behind you. In this clip, you can see Tegan trying to help me get it just right. It's definitely a team effort, and don't be afraid to ask someone to make sure everything's double backed. As you can see, we're really working here to get it snug. The waist strap in your harness should be pretty tight and snug. A good rule of thumb is if you can slip your hand underneath the waist strap, make a fist, and if your fist can't exit, that's a good thing. Alright, croll time. So here's the thing, it's super easy to put this on backwards, like I did here. See how the gate is touching my stomach? Not ideal. Always make sure the black gate is facing outwards and free of obstruction to open to your right. Now let's get the chest harness on. This buckle clips to the back of your waist strap. Make sure it's nice and centered, and that there aren't any twists in the webbing. Twisted straps are not only uncomfortable, but they'll also affect how the whole kit fits, and nobody wants that. Adjusting the chest harness can be a bit fiddly, but it's worth getting right. First, you're going to thread the strap through your croll from your belly button side outwards. Then pull it up towards the sky and feed it through the 2 parts of the chest harness buckle. Here's the important part. Pull it taut and you want the buckle to sit at your bust level, not lower. If your buckle is sitting too low by the croll, you'll need to adjust the overall length. Here you can see me feeding some material from one side of the buckle onto the other until the buckle sits high enough. Let's try this again. The buckle should start up by my shoulder and when fully tightened, sit right around the bust. Got it? Good. Alright, now that our base is all set up, let's move on to the attachments. Take your cow's tail rope, stretch it out, and find the middle point. This is called a bight of rope, and it's where you'll tie your figure 8 knot. Once you've tied your figure 8 knot, attach it to your D-ring. Pro tip, make sure the cow's tail is sitting to the left of your crowel. You don't want anything blocking that gate, remember? Here's a common mistake. See how the bight on this figure 8 is huge? I can fit my hand through it. Not good. That's an entrapment hazard waiting to happen. Aim for a smaller bight. About 2 fingers wide is a good benchmark. After you tie your knot, you gotta set it, which means tightening each individual strand, not just yanking on the whole knot. And to check if your figure 8 is tied right, count the pairs. You should see 2, 4, 6, and 8. If you get 7 or 9, well, you got a problem. Alright, time to attach locking carabiners onto the ends of your cow tails. Whoop-bam! Bada bing, bada boom. There we go, both ends are now ready and looking good. Barrel knots tied, locking carabiners in place. Okay, but how do you know if you tied that barrel knot correctly? On one side, you should see 2 nice parallel bands of rope running side by side. If you flip it around on this side, you'll see an X where the rope crosses over itself. Now, let's talk about the cow tail length. How long should it be? Easy. The top of the carabiner should sit just below your nose, like this. Why? Because when you attach your ascender, you don't want it to be way up high where you can't reach it. If your ascender is too high, you're going to have a nightmare of a time doing changeovers, or honestly, just anything. Keep it low and within easy reach. Now let's quickly attach the foot loop and the small non-locking carabiner to the hand ascender, also known as the Jumar. Clip the foot loop in, make sure everything's secure, lock the carabiner, and boom, your cow's tail is ready to use. Next up, we're locking things down. Here's an oval-shaped locking carabiner, and we're attaching it to the stop ascender. Clip it onto your D-ring and lock it tight. You see this little red marking here by the screw gate? Red means dead. If you see red, your carabiner is not locked. So make sure that gate is fully closed, lock it tight, stay safe, do not be a statistic on a club trip. And finally, let's put this non-locking carabiner on top. This is going to be your braking carabiner. And with that, your SRT kit is officially ready to roll. Look at me, all set up and ready to take on the cave. Woohoo! Now before you get on rope, we've got one final step. It's called a buddy check. Everyone, no matter if you're an exec, an experienced caver, or a total beginner, needs to do a buddy check. First, I'm making sure all his buckles are double backed. We don't want any of these coming loose mid-rope. Then I check that all his carabiners are locked where they need to be, and that he's got all the right parts. Looking good so far. Next, I take a look at his figure 8 knot, perfectly tied with just the right amount of space on the bight. I'm asking Anton to hold up his cow's tails. Yep, sitting just below his nose, right where they should be. He's gonna have no trouble reaching his ascender with these. And that's it. Thumbs up from both of us. Anton's ready to go, and now you are too. Make sure to do your buddy check every time before getting on rope. Boom.